Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you don't already know, my name is Chelsea Dawn Kahn. It is a pleasure to be here with you today. We are going to be testing two powders. So I already have my foundation and my concealer done. So basically what had happened was I was talking at Sephora with one of the staff members there when it was the VIB sale, and she recommended for me to try this BeautyBlender. It's called the BeautyBlender Bounce Soft Focus Gemstone Setting Powder. She said it's amazing and she really loved it. So she was like, you have to buy it. You have to make a video about it. See how you like it. So on the first day that I tried it, I did not love it, but I think that my skincare just was not maybe the best. It really looked like it clung to all of my makeup, to all of my fine lines. Like I was like, this is gross. I don't like it. And then what also happened was I had cried later in the evening and my makeup melted off my face and I was wearing waterproof foundation. But the thing is that I was also wearing my new Charlotte Tilbury Setting Powder. So I don't know if it was this powder or if it was the setting powder. And I've tried literally multiple tests where I've done only half my face with setting powder and then tried make myself cry and I just couldn't do it. But I may have found a video clip that will make me cry. So we're going to try this BeautyBlender powder on half of my face, and then we're going to compare it to my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Setting Powder because I do really like this one. And I know that this does not make my makeup melt. So hopefully I'll be able to cry today, and then I'll be able to see if it's this powder or if it's my setting spray because I'm not using setting spray today for this. So I have used this a few times since the first time. After the first time, I was like, I hate it. I'm returning it. But I thought I'll keep giving it a try just because it does have like a nice glow to it, which I really love, but I'm just not sure still that it's for me. It does like very much so accentuate my pores, I find, but we will get into all of that. So I'm going to read to you really quickly about this BeautyBlender Bounce Soft Focus Gemstone Setting Powder. It is at Sephora for $42 Canadian. So it says it is a super blurring, airy gemstone powder that sets makeup and absorbs oil, giving life to your skin without drying or caking, and that it's a light coverage. So some of the ingredients in it are hyaluronic acid, which moisturizes, rose quartz, which energizes skin, and freshwater pearls add radiance. And then to use, it says bounce a damp beauty blender, powder brush or puff on the mesh trampoline to pick up the powder, and then lightly dust over skin to set your makeup. And now I'll just quickly read to you guys about the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Setting Powder. So I had done another video on this one, which I will link up here for you guys. And I had compared it to the Jouer setting powder previously, so you guys can check that video out if you're interested in that. But this one basically is an ultra fine setting powder that blurs imperfections and visibly reduces shine. It is a medium coverage. Some of the ingredients in it are rose water and almond oil, which help to nourish, soften, and moisturize skin. And then light reflecting pearlescent pigments, which diffuse light as it hits your face for a luminous complexion. Oh, and this one is $58 Canadian at Sephora. And on how to use, it can be used on its own or on top of foundation and concealer to set them in place. For oily skin, which is me, apply the Airbrush Flawless Finish all over your face for more coverage, starting from the T-zone and working outward and upward. So we're going to do on this half of my face, we'll do the BeautyBlender. So it's actually my right, but looks like your left. And then on this side of my face, we will do the Charlotte Tilbury. So we're gonna just throw those on real quick and see how it goes. So, oh, and what I should say too, the thing that the lady at Sephora told me about this one that she loved so much for herself personally is that it's super blurring. And just leaves like a very flawless looking finish. Now, I personally didn't find it super blurring. I found it just kind of exaggerated everything a bit more. But then when I had retried it again, I did. Now, here's the thing. I found it very blurring when I looked in a mirror. When I looked in a mirror, in like certain lighting, it made me look flawless. And I literally was like, whoa, I'm gorgeous. I took a selfie of it, sent it to my friend, and she was like, wow, you look flawless. But the thing is, when I looked actually in a mirror, like in good lighting close up, it exaggerated all my pores so much, and it really didn't blur my fine lines that much. It just kind of, yeah, it kind of exaggerated, but also at the same time, I was like, do I like this? Because it had like almost that dewy pearlescent sheen to it, which I loved instead of looking so matte. But that is why we're here today, to test them side by side with each other and see how it goes. So wish me luck, guys. Oh, and I'll show you the inside. So it does have that little trampoline mesh thing. So I do find it a slight bit harder to get the powder out, because like you can't really just kind of push on it with your sponge or whatever it is and get it out. You have to dump it just like any regular one, tap it, and then go from there. So here we go. This side, we're going with the bounce. Okay, guys, so that is the first side done with the bounce. You can see that it does give like a bit more sheen than this side without any powder, which I do really like. But the other thing that I forgot to mention is that it really does not wear well on my nose. Now, I know some people would just use this as like an under eye brightener, but I don't really need that, just because like my skin is so fair that brightening products usually don't actually do anything for me, because it's like, could you get any brighter? Like I will just rather, I've never been the person that like highlights under my eyes or like down my nose or anything like that, just because you never actually end up seeing a difference. So I like it all over my face, which it does also say you can use it for. But I just don't like how it sits on my nose. Once the oils start working in, it almost starts really breaking up the makeup and looking, it almost like is a magnet where it kind of all goes into one spot more so, and will start looking thick and clumpy and cakey like. So now we're gonna go in on this side with the Charlotte Tilbury. And as you saw before, I used the BeautyBlender just down the center so I could really get like a sharp, clean line, and under my eyes. And then a brush, I just buff it out over like the bigger areas of my face. So we're gonna do both sides the exact same so that we can see how it goes. Okay, so we have both sides on now. You can definitely see that the BeautyBlender side does have like that nice dewy kind of sheen to it, whereas the Charlotte side is for sure more matte. You can even see it like on the side of my nose and my chin here. So like from far away, upon first like application, I do like the Beauty Blender side. Now, when I look close up, see, here's where it gets tricky. From far away, I like the Beauty Blender. When I look close up, I'll try get close for you guys here. You can see that it accentuates my pores so much just because it's so got like such a sheen to it that it really just, especially because I do have oily skin and a lot of pores, it really just says, hey, there they are. And then on the Charlotte side, you can still see them, but not as much. And as far as accentuating my fine lines under my eyes, this is my Charlotte side. So like you can obviously see them a bit, but it's like a powdered under eye. You're always going to see that. And then this is the Beauty Blender side. So it's not really super bad. I think that they kind of almost look the same. But you can just see such a difference in the finish of the product. Now, I will also say on this side of my face, I have a lot of acne scarring. So you can see that. On this side, I don't have as much. But you can really see that it's like accentuating all my little like texture bumps that I have, my zits. Whereas this side, you can't see them quite as much, I don't think. Like I have a tiny bit right there, but nothing as intense. So it's really going to come down so far. Well, it's always going to come down to personal preference, but I just really don't appreciate how much I can see my pores here. Even just like the difference in the two is a lot. So I think at this point I would have to say I'm leaning towards the Charlotte side, but I am going to hop off camera and finish the rest of my makeup. I won't show you guys now. I'll just show you later. We're going to do some check-ins throughout the day. I'm going to be filming another video too, putting our Christmas decorations up. And I have a bunch of cleaning to do, which makes me really sweaty because we have like a huge black velvet couch that I fully vacuum, and it just makes me so sweaty every time. So I'm going to do that today. And then we'll do check-ins throughout the day to see how it looks and what we think we like the best. So I will see you guys in a bit. I should also let you guys know that the current time is 11:30 in the a.m. So I don't know how long of a wear test we're going to get because we had a later start to this day, but we're just going to do our best and see what happens. So it's 12 o'clock. I thought that I should actually just hop on really quickly and show you what the rest of my face looks like, just so there's no like, well, we didn't know what it looked like before. So here we are. We're about half an hour in. And oh, also I figured out the best way to describe what I don't fully love about the Beauty Blender Bounce powder is that it almost like clings to certain parts, but not the powder. It's almost like the shimmer in it, I find, clings to certain parts of your skin. So if one part is maybe slightly more moisturized than the other, or maybe more dry than the other, it clings weirdly in those areas and then creates more of a sheen in that area than in a different area of your face. So it almost gives like an uneven finish, if that makes sense. And you never know which area it's going to choose to cling to for the day. So you'll just end up with these like chunks of your face that suddenly look way more shimmery than other areas. And it's like, it doesn't even matter how much you buff it in or work it into your skin or anything, you're always still going to have those little areas of clinging. So this side is my Charlotte side, and then this side is my Beauty Blender side. So that's half an hour in, and you can see on my nose on the Beauty Blender side here, it is already starting to like catch a bit of my oils, and it's starting to almost look a bit like Really, girl? That's what your nose looks like? It's pretty thick on there compared to this side. So we will see how it goes. I'm gonna go film doing our Christmas decorations and then we will be back in a bit. Okay guys, we are back. The current time is 4:15. So we finished the powdering at 11:30. So it's like almost 5 hours now. So you can see quite a big difference between the two sides. So this side was the Charlotte Tilbury and this side is the BeautyBlender. So in person, when I look in a mirror, I like the Charlotte Tilbury side 10,000 times better than the BeautyBlender side. And on camera as well, things always look different on camera than in person, but on camera, I also like the Charlotte Tilbury side better than the BeautyBlender side. So what I've really noticed, okay, I should actually say though, the BeautyBlender side, if you're just filming something without using like bright studio lighting, it does look really nice on camera. But who, for the most part, is walking around in their daily life trying to film things, right? So are most of you gonna need that? Definitely not. I think if you had dry skin, it potentially might be really nice because it does add a luminous glow, but for oily skin like myself, as far as almost being 5 hours in, when I see it compared on my same face to the Charlotte Tilbury side, it's like not even a question. In person, the Charlotte Tilbury side really does blur way more. I noticed it especially on my forehead wrinkles. In person, my forehead wrinkles, and I have a lot because I do this so often, my forehead wrinkles on the Charlotte Tilbury side look almost invisible. Whereas the forehead wrinkles on the BeautyBlender side are quite exaggerated and way more noticeable. My pores, like I was saying earlier, are way more visible. Everything just looks way smoother. And there's something about the BeautyBlender side that just, it's almost like it brings out my veins somehow, which is weird because I'm wearing a pretty full coverage foundation and concealer, and I just see like bluey, veiny undertone in person. So I'm gonna get a bit closer so you guys can see. And I also wanted to do this before I'm like just about to start cleaning the couch. So I'm just about to get real hot and sweaty. So I wanted to check in before that and then also in a few hours later after that. But let's check. So this is the BeautyBlender side. You can see like it's quite oily and greasy looking at this point. I'll try to show you my forehead as well. So you can really see it's exaggerating all those lines. And then this is my Charlotte Tilbury side. Now this is oily as well, obviously, because we're 5 hours in and I am an oily girl. But I just feel like it doesn't show everything near as much. Especially if I look like straight on. You can see on my nose section, it really, on the BeautyBlender side, almost like makes my pores look deeper and almost more pock-likey in person. Whereas the Charlotte side just made it look very smooth and even. I don't know if you can see it on camera so much, but like it really just builds up around each of my pores and like really with the oil sinks into it way more. And the Charlotte side just looks much smoother. So at this point, I feel even right now, just looking at it, you can tell that the Charlotte side looks better. Like something about it just looks way better. it's just more smooth and even, I think, honestly, guys. So I will be checking back in again in a few hours later tonight after I have vacuumed and become a sweaty mess, and we will see how all that looks. But at this point, there's not a single thing I like more about the Beauty Blender side, except that it does look nice on camera without studio lighting. But the thing is, the Charlotte side does too. So like, what is the point of getting this? I wouldn't even my under eyes with the Charlotte side look way smoother, which is funny because this Beauty Blender one specifically is supposed to be good for brightening under eye areas. And I just think it exaggerates everything so much more. So we will be back in a bit, but I'm just gonna go ahead and say for sure we're gonna end up liking the Charlotte side like way better, guys. So we are back. It is officially 7:30, so we're 8 hours deep into this wear test. I would usually try to go longer because like realistically 8 hours is not enough to get from home to work and back again, but I really just want to wash my face and cuddle with Rex. So we're saying 8 hours is good enough. Now, in a strange twist of events, you guys, I really did not see this coming. I really am major shocked. I honestly prepared myself to come up here and be like, yeah, exact same comments as last check-in, video done. No. So I went and I looked in the washroom and I was like, why do I suddenly like the Beauty Blender side better? And I thought to myself, my pores are somehow not nearly as visible now on the Beauty Blender side, and now on the Charlotte side they're way more visible. I was like, this has literally flipped. So then I went and I asked Rex, and I was like, what do you think? I didn't say anything about anything. I just said, what do you think about both sides of my face? I'm testing 2 powders. And he said, this side of your face, you can't see the pores. And this one, you can see way more pores and it looks way more powdery, which technically makes sense because this one is more matte and the Beauty Blender one has that like very fine, almost glitter in it, right? So what else I noticed, so we both picked up on that. What else I noticed is that my Charlotte side in comparison to the Bounce Beauty side, I don't think that you can really tell on camera here, but in person in the mirror, my Charlotte side oxidized a bit more. So now it's a slightly deeper color, whereas my Bounce side is, my whole face is still very brightened looking. And you know how last check-in I said that I liked my Charlotte under eye better? Now, when we're 8 hours deep, my Bounce Beauty under eye looks way better. The bag underneath of it doesn't look nearly as big. So at 8 hours, I like the Bounce Beauty one better. But the thing is, like, Charlotte looked better for most of the day up until the 8 hour mark. So, you know, is that really worth it then to have the Bounce Beauty one to feel like you don't look your best for most of your day? Not really. Do I think that it would be a great powder for somebody who has dry skin or maybe does just want to use it under the eye for brightening? Potentially, yes. However, I did still like the Charlotte one better for that as well throughout most of the day. So I personally still notice that my forehead wrinkles are more exaggerated on this side. And in person, for sure, this Bounce Beauty side does look way more shiny and oily, which makes sense. And it also feels more oily. So it feels like my Charlotte side like controlled my oils better, which also makes sense because it looks more powdery, where this side no longer looks powdery at all. It just looks very like soaking in and like juicy. So I'll try get a bit close up. Here's my Charlotte side. And then here's my Bounce Beauty side. So you can see more so that like it's really sunken into my pores a bit more on my bounce side. And also my nose on my bounce side literally looks like if I went like this, every single thing would just come like straight off of it. So I think long term, I'm still saying that I like the Charlotte better, just because it looks better for most of the day up until this point. And I also don't have any setting spray on. So I think that if I had a setting spray on, it would be a bit different as well. Like it wouldn't look so powdery, and would maybe my whole face would just like wear a bit better potentially. But now I'm going to hop off camera and watch a few video clips in hopes that I'm gonna cry, so that we can see if it's in fact the Bounce Beauty Powder that melts when I cry, or if it's the Charlotte Tilbury Setting Spray that I bought. So wish me luck on this experiment. I'm really hoping I can cry, and if I do, I'm just gonna sit with this like really sad feeling and exist in it so I can get as many tears as possible. So I will be back. Wow, this is crazy. Okay, I might insert a little clip of the last video. I just finished filming. It was wild. So basically, I said that I had success in my crying. I cried a whole bunch. I watched videos about grieving your loved ones who have passed, and then I sat with my emotions of my mother-in-law, and then the lights in here started going crazy, like flashing on and off. I've never seen anything like that before. If you know me, you know what I believe that is. And then my video changed itself randomly somehow into slow motion. So I cannot use it. I have to refilm. But know that I cried so good that my waterproof mascara started to come off. I was fully successful in my crying mission. In my previous video, my face was literally dripping and wet. So as you can see, mission accomplished. I watched some very sad videos about grieving your loved ones, and I'm not kidding. I sat and thought about my mother-in-law, and now, like, I don't know what's happening with this. You can kind of see here a tear line on this side. Oh, okay, this is interesting. On my Bounce side, you can see a tear line, but on my Charlotte side, you cannot. But like fully all my under eyes here were soaking wet. So now that it's drying, I'm gonna look again. Okay, in person, I can see a tear line on my Charlotte side as well. But my Bounce powder side did not melt, which leads me to believe that it is the Charlotte Tilbury setting spray that melts my makeup when it gets wet. So now I'll have to do a wear test video on that, because if that is the case, like, that's really not gonna work for me because I cry and it snows here, and it also does things like freezing rain here, which we're dealing with right now. So that would basically mean I could never feel safe wearing it at any point in my life. So we'll make a separate video on that one. But what I will leave you with is saying that I think that the Bounce Beauty Blender powder could be really nice for you if you have drier skin, or even potentially if you like mixed like a Charlotte with like a bit of the Beauty Blender one on top or something like that. But is it really something that I fully need? No. So take away what you will from that, but like I do definitely like it more at the 8-hour mark, whatever that's supposed to mean. So if you have not already subscribed, please make sure to subscribe. When you do, click the all bell button so that you get notified every time I upload a new video, because I love to spend time and hang out with you. Please make sure to give this video a thumbs up. It really helps me if you can thumbs up with the YouTube algorithm and pushing it out to more people, which will allow me to keep making these videos. And leave a comment below on if you could see a difference on camera of either side of my face, or if you've tried either powders, or if you have video recommendations for the future. But I just hope that you all have an amazing rest of your day, and I love you all tons.